Welcome back YouTube, it's time to get the timing chains on. Now, just quickly, if you're watching this video to do the timing chains yourself, this probably ain't the best video just from the point that I'm already like halfway through because all the chains are off because I did a complete engine build. So there is better videos out there. I will cover all the things you need to do. For a start off, what you need to do is the timing marks. I'll put photos up of the timing marks now. As you can see, I showed you the locking bar for the cams. That needs to be in there. That's the only really tool you need is the locking bar for the cams. As for the crank, on the crank pulley side, you can see the timing marks there. There's one in the crank pulley and then on the plastic plate where the seal is. There's another one here with the half tooth. It's not the best, easiest to line up on this one. Ideally, you want to work on the one that's got the crank pulley on the auxiliary belt side. It's easier to line up and get exact. I find this one's a bit, because you're meant to line it up with where the cap meets the block. I just think it's a bit iffy. So use the other side ideally. You can use this one for a bit of a reference, but ideally you want to be lining the other side up perfect. So yeah, now you've seen all the timing marks. We'll start putting the chain on. Spy the little R32 there as well. Kind of makes me miss mine. That's a customer's in for a couple of things. But yeah, without any further ado, let's start getting the timing chain on, and then we can get this thing spinning over. So this guide. This wants to go just there. If you've not took both these pegs out, there's nothing to worry about. I leave they're about 10 Newton meters, I think, if you've took them out. You can put a bit of thread lock if you want. And then you've got this sprocket. You really want to change the sprocket. Apparently, so I'm told, this is going to be the sprocket that wears the most and the small one that goes on this that you'll see in a minute. But for a start off, you want this, the intermediate shaft, you want the flat to be at the top. I'll show you more why in a minute. It basically sits on there like that, but we need to get the chain on it first. Again, obviously, before you do any of this, you need to make sure your crank's in the right place. I've already shown you the timing mark, so you've just got to make sure you're right in that department. Can be a little bit awkward. Okay. See, this side wants to be as taut as possible, ideally, and that wants to be lined up. So just check the other side again. This is the side you want loose. Then you need to get your lower chain tensioner. So that, and this basically wants to go in like this. Right, so the T27 Torx, I believe they're either 8 or 10 Newton meters, I think. I'm not going to get the torque wrench out for it. Although I'd highly advise it. I feel like after you've been a mechanic for a while, you kind of get a feel for how tight things need to be. I'd still say torque it, but I'm not going to mess around with the torque wrench right now. I might pull it out for the bigger ones, but right. So yeah, it's on the crank puller. This guide's on. It's running through there. This is on. The bolt's not in it yet. What I'll do is I'm going to show you a picture now of where that's lined up. Like I said, the flat needs to be in there. Basically, there's 2 points in there that need to line up. What I'll do is I'll show you a picture now. Next thing to do is put this smaller sprocket on. Obviously, you can see there's a cut out there to go on there. It's like a keyway. So you want to put that on, and then you put the bolt in. I've put a little bit of thread lock on this. Don't go too mad with it, but just put a bit on. You don't want it coming loose. This is 15mm bolt. You're meant to do it to 16 Newton meters and then a quarter of a turn. Your hardest thing is going to be holding it. Obviously you can hold it on a crank, but then you're putting the stress on the chain. Otherwise you could maybe try and get a screwdriver in somewhere to hold it, stop it turning. I don't know which way I'm going to do, but I'm going to tighten this up and then we'll get back to it. Right, now this tightened up. After you've tightened this up, it is awkward to hold. I tried a screwdriver in here and it was a bit awkward, so I ended up having to hold it on the crank. It did put tension on the chain, but I can't really see any other way that you can do it. So I did it. It did turn the crank a little bit, moved it out. So if you do it that way, just make sure you go back, double check your crank on the back side. You can check on here as well. I find the other one to be better. But yeah, you can check on here to make sure it's about right. Check it on the other side of the crank. This needs to be, again, that triangle bit that sticks up needs to be with the back. And then the next thing to do is pull this pin out. But you want to make sure, you want to take all the slack off this side of the chain. You don't really want any slack, so say if it's back like that, just basically turn the intermediate shaft, see if it's like that a little bit. See where it's got like a little bit of slack there. Like that. You just want to get rid of that. Just turn it basically. Spin the engine back a little bit. So yeah, if it was back like that, just want to, that's it. So you just want to basically just be taking the slack out of this side. And then the next thing to do is to pull the pin. Right, so the crank's lined up. This is all on and tight, bit of thread lock on it. Slack's taken off this side. There's the chain about in the center of it. That's it. Just pull it out. That now takes the slack out of this side. And that's your bottom chain done. Now we've got to move on to the top chain. Right, now it's time to get the top chain on. What you want to do is, this is the guide you want to put on first. This is the one that the tensioner presses on. So you just want to push it on this peg, like this, and then swing it up. If you push it back after, you can kind of sit it on there. And then after that, you want to put this one on. This basically wants to come through the head gasket here. Obviously beware of the head gasket. And you kind of slide it down like that, and then you've basically got two bolts that go in there. I put a bit of Loctite on them. I also coated these because I didn't know what they were for, which doesn't matter, you're not going to see them, but put both of them bolts in there. Again, watch the head gasket. I'm going to have to clean it after because it's got some cracks up to it. But these are 6mm Allen key. You should already know that if you've just come off. I don't know the tightening torque for these. If you're not a mechanic, then you might want to torque them. For me, I'm just not really going to bother. I'm just going to nip them up. Got a bit of thread lock on anyway. Again, like anything else you do when you tighten it up, I just like to even things out, just so you're never cocking anything. Feels good to me. Right, now it's time to put the chain on. Right, so here you've got your chain and you've got copper links. So, see the 3 copper links, the middle one, this one here, this wants to line up with this line on here, and then the other one's got on the cams. So basically, you need to kind of drop this through here, like that. It's a little bit awkward. Right, that's on there like that. And you need to be getting your intake puller, a little arrow, just on here near this notch, pointing towards a tooth. So you basically, you want to be getting this copper link up here, to go where the arrow is. Right, now that pulley's on and the arrows are lined up with the copper link, what I'll do is I'll get a photo of that just so you guys can see. I'll put that on now. Then you basically have to do the same thing on the other pulley. You just need to find the little arrow. And once you've found the arrow, which is there on this one that goes actually into there, so it's that tooth. Essentially what's on there. Like I've already said, you are going to change these bolts. These are new ones. For now, just put these, just kind of want them up finger tight. Right, you want, it already is, but this side wants to be as tense as possible. You want the tension on this side because obviously this is where your tension is going. So you've got 3 copper links here. Your middle one is the one where this line is on the intermediate shaft. There's another copper link there. I have no idea what that's for. And then you've got your 2 copper links up here. You'll see the little arrow which on the picture I just showed you a minute goes to there. I will show you. I'll put up a picture of the other side now. Yeah, now you've seen the other side where the arrow points to here and the other copper washer. So basically the two copper links, they're both lined up with the cam pulleys. The middle copper link here is on the line. So that is basically it really. Now you're going to spin it over with the tension on. I've seen a lot of people like basically zip tie this over and all sorts to be able to spin it over. I'm not going to do that. The only real benefit you've got is you can turn it over twice, and then if it's out of time, you haven't got to take the timing chain back off. But at the end of the day, we've got the lock-in for the cams. So the cams are locked in place. The bronze links are on both of the arrows. The bronze link lines up there. The crank's in time. Everything seems to be perfect. So I think I'm just literally going to put the timing chain covers on and then spin it over with the covers on, basically. So yeah, let me go get the chain covers and we'll get back to it. Right, actually before I put any kind of timing chain covers off or anything, I'm actually going to tighten these pulleys up. So it's 60 Newton meters and then quarter of a turn. What you want to do, 32mm spanner wants to go on the cam, and I've still got the plate in the back just in case, but you don't want to be putting the tension on that. So just work out which way it's going to pull, and then you just need to basically hold it with the spanner. That's right, so 6 there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do them both 6 there, and then I'll do them both quarter turn. It'll just be easier than messing around, keep changing it. So this one's going to go that way. Alright, so that's 60 Newton meters on both. Now, I've got angles on here, so I will use the angle. But you don't need to. Right, so quarter turn is 90 degrees. Right, so now 90 degrees now, which is quarter of a turn. So yeah, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the timing chain covers. I'm putting a new seal in here and everything, and then I'll be back after. We'll get the chain covers on, get the tensioner in, and then we can finally turn it over and make sure everything's all good. So yeah, I'll go grab them and we'll get back to it. Right, it's time to put the bottom cover on. Obviously I've Cerakoted this. It's got a brand new crank seal in it. I've also lubricated, put some assembly go around just so it can go over. This has obviously got the plastic bit in it to help with the seal. This hole here basically go across, and then when you push it down, obviously you have to watch out for the head gasket. I did spray it with some stuff. Obviously I've had to wipe it down just because there was all crap and stuff stuck to it. At the end of the day, this part of the gasket's not as important because it's only doing the seal for the chain covers basically, and you're only going to get a little bit of splash oil. It's not like it's submerged, so just get some brake cleaner or whatever, just get all the oil and stuff off it. And then what we need to do is, obviously this has to be sealanted on. Get this tape off. So what I use, again, back to the same brand I use for most stuff, the Victorine stuff. It's good because it's in a tin. You just press the trigger in, you can go around. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a nice bead of this on, clean this all down, and then we'll chuck it on. So there we go, just like that. Try and put it on without touching anything. What I like to do with these seals is use a little screwdriver like this. I dip it in some like assembly glue and just go in between. Put the assembly glue on just so it don't snag, and just kind of run round while you a bit. Do these up. 10 mils. Just gonna do a little bit at a time. I put the solenoids now. I've got new ones. Just gonna dip it in oil quickly. The brown one is the bottom one. It goes that way around, so the flat is on there like that. These are pretty stiff to get in. That really stiff. The tiniest little screws as well. These screws are T15. You want to be doing these up with a quarter drive ratchet. You don't want to be using a 3/8 on these. I don't know what the torque is on these, but I'd say they're probably only about 5 Newton meters or something. I'm literally just going to nip them with a quarter drive. You don't have to put new ones of these on. You don't, if you're just doing the chain or whatever else you're doing, you don't necessarily have to take these off. You can just take this whole unit off in one piece. I took the solenoids out and they're kind of separated. What do I show you quick there? They're just like peened over. I could have got it back on, but I just didn't want to risk it. They're not, I can't remember how much they are, but they're not ridiculously expensive. Not like these, which are like 450 quid each. This is the second one. This is the one with the black plug. Basically, this goes in there like that. You want the flat part of the plug to be on the right hand side. I'd say use a rag or at least your sleeve to push these in because they are a knob. I would say you could wind it in with the screws, but with how tiny they are, I would not recommend trying to pull it in with them, because if you end up breaking a bolt or you pull the thread out of there, then you've got to change that unit and you don't really want that. So just use your hand to push them in. That's it, both of them done. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put some assembly glue around these just ready for when I slide the cover on. I'll do. Right, so they've got plenty of lube on, everything else is good. Give this, while we're here, so that's all good. So now I just need to put some sealant on the top cover, slide it over, get the tensioner in. So that's it. You gotta watch that out as you put it in. Obviously you want to clean all the mating surface around here. Obviously you need to change, ideally you want to change this, the O-ring gasket there. I've put a new one in, I had it in my headset. So them two, they're new as well. They're the seals for the solenoids. I've put 2 new ones of them. If you are going to have the head off, I'd just get a Victorine's headset. You get the head gasket, you get both of them seals, you get that O-ring there, you get the cam cover gasket with the 6 plug hole ones. You get everything you need to take the head off, all the gaskets and everything. I mean, you can get it from a main dealer if you want, but yeah, I got the Victorine's one. That's what I'll be using. All the seals are top quality and that. So Right, so these are 5mm Allen key. Yeah, I've got these two here as well. Put these two bolts in, they were just 6mm Allen keys. Right, so the last bit before we can turn it over is the tensioner. So we've just got to screw the tensioner in here. The cam lock's still in, crank's still in the right place. We've literally just got to screw this all the way in, tighten it up, and we're ready to turn it over basically. Make sure the timing marks line up again. A lot of people do it without these cases on, just because if it's wrong, you've got to take these cases off again. But I'm gonna have faith. Everything's lined up, so there ain't no reason why the timing should be wrong. That's it. Tension's on. I might spin the oil pump up just to get some oil circulated first. Right, so before I turn it over, I'm just going to try and get some oil around the engine first. I know it might make a bit of a mess. I haven't got the sump on. Obviously I haven't got the sump on because I've got to do the turbo drain and stuff. It's going to drip out a bit and make a bit of a mess, but I'd rather that than turn it over dry. So what I've got is I've got a tray under here. I've filled it with fresh oil, so it's got clean oil in this tray. So I've submerged the oil pump in it. I'm going to go off this drive here before I put the gear in and seal that. So I'm just going to spin it round and put the turbo feed on round on the other side where the oil cooler takeoff is. I've looped it round with a bit of pipe. So I'm basically just going to run the pump so it just circulates oil all round the crank, the cams, the timing chain, all that kind of stuff. So I'm just going to get the oil around everywhere. And then I'll drop this drive in and put this cap on basically that plugs it up, and then we'll turn the engine over 2 turns and make sure the timing marks aligned. So what this is, you can get in here, obviously you have to take the gear out and stuff, but basically the shaft that runs down to the oil pumps is 6mm, so in a 6mm on a quarter drive, and then a drill ratchet, whatever you want to use. I'm going to use this electric ratchet. You have to turn it anti-clockwise, which I'm going to do now. Easy if you didn't have the manifold on, but I'll put it on, tighten it up, so I'm just going to, that's why I'm not using a drill. So yeah, what I'm going to do is I'll bring you up and show you where it's coming out on the turbo feed. It's not going to be the best, I'll just hold it a bit. Put it up on, put it right here. I don't know why you can see that, but there we go. Just pumped it all around. Obviously that's where I've got it looped. So it's getting oil feed from there, so we know everything's all filled up. So it should have filled all the housing, the fuel filter. Obviously it's pumped it through up to here. It should have been oiled the cams and everything now. Obviously you can see it dripping from places. So I'm going to put that gear in now, put the cover on, and then we'll turn the engine over. Right, the oil drive's back in, this cap's on, the bolts are in, so I'm just going to spin it over twice now, check the timing marks, and then that'll be it for today. Let's spin it over. It's nearly 2, so we'll get the bar. Set, spot on. So yeah, the crank's timed up, the cams, the bar goes back in. So everything looks all good. Like I said, filled it with oil and that. So that's pretty much the engine done. So I don't even know what the next video is going to be, but that's it for now. So like, share, subscribe, all of that. Now catch you on the next one.